Welcome to today's webinar. Very excited to have so many folks joining from what looks like all over the world. We've certainly got a large representation across the states, but I saw Canada and Austria in there, so that's really exciting too. Today, I'm very excited to be joining with Jennifer Harrity from Sensiba. We're going to be talking today a little bit about building a winning corporate sustainability strategy. The idea here is to come away with some really tactical things that you can take back to your organization to kind of help things get going. And, we want this to be something that you can actually bring tangible things home. So feel free to use the chat, ask questions, chime in. We want to make sure that, this is a valuable use of time. For quick introductions, I'm Alex. I'm the CEO and founder of Greenplaces. We are a sustainability solution. We think of ourselves as kind of like a chief sustainability officer in a box. We handle carbon footprints, helping businesses figure out what to do and improve things and help them share that with their clients and customers for all the things that you need in one place. But I am so excited to be here with Jennifer from Sensiba. Jennifer, could you give us a quick introduction and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Alex. Yeah, this is awesome to be here with Greenplaces. I'm Jennifer Harrity from Sensiba. I am the founder and director of the Sensiba Center for Sustainability. Sensiba is basically what you would think of as a traditional accounting firm, tax, audit, consulting, all of the accounting things. However, we're not so traditional. We are a certified B Corp accounting firm, and we have an ESG and sustainability practice where we help companies look holistically at their business practices through the E, the S, and the G, and how they can engage and improve overall so they can be more socially and environmentally conscious, making their business decisions. And of course, translating that all to ROI, because that's what accountants do.
Well, thank you. And where are you calling out from?
I'm calling from the San Francisco Bay Area.
Awesome. Well, great. Well, thank you so much for joining today. We've got a great session. Just a quick background. I think it's helpful to set the stage of why we're here. Sustainability has become, over the last 12 to 24 months, a requirement, frankly, for doing business. And part of the reason why that's the case is a few years ago, as the Fortune 500 and some of the largest businesses in the world set net zero and big targets, and we're facing regulation overseas and now domestically, what we're seeing is sustainability is becoming a reality. It's something that every business is having to come to terms with, of how to meet these requirements. And it's not just affecting the Fortune 500. And what's interesting about that is, if you look at the global world of sustainability, only about 20 to 25% of global emissions lives within kind of that Fortune 500. The vast majority of us, our service providers, vendors, partners, businesses, everyday companies that are dealing with this. And while the largest companies in the world, the Amazons, the Metas, the AT&Ts and T-Mobiles, they can afford, to staff teams of climate scientists and experts and departments. The reality is most of us, most businesses and suppliers who are now having to do this don't have those resources. We might be a team of one, we might be a team of three, we might be an engaged hand raiser who's always cared about green. That's certainly where I came from, but we don't have that infrastructure. And so as we're navigating these challenges of reporting sustainability, meeting the demands and the requirements of regulators, meeting the demands and requirements of customers and vendors and folks that we want to work with, it's really hard. It's really hard. So I want to start with a quick poll, and Kristen is going to be sending this out, but we want to start off with kind of, how confident are you today in your organization's ability to meet its sustainability goals? And we'll give it a couple minutes as kind of poll numbers come in. But I think this will kind of help us set the stage of where things are and make sure that we're tailoring it to the folks in the room. All right, so we're seeing some good results already. So I'm seeing some folks feeling very confident. That's amazing. That's great to hear. A lot of folks in kind of this middle camp of somewhat confident, but this is a little bit difficult. And then there's certainly a lot of us that I think are kind of at the beginning in this journey, which is, this stuff is daunting. It's hard. Doing a carbon footprint is hard. Knowing what to do is hard. Knowing how to get this through the organization, get it into the the words that a CFO can understand are hard, and actually motivating and making sure that we can actually reach these goals is very difficult. So it looks like about half our participants right now are sitting in this bucket of, I know I need to do it, but I don't necessarily know how. So that's great. So we'll make sure that we kind of keep that going and tailor things along with that. But I figure to kind of get started, maybe we'll go with some questions. So to start off with, Jennifer,
Yeah.
let's talk about why we're here. Like, what's the business case for sustainability? We're obviously all, we're into this, I think, but how do you communicate this to a CFO? Like, what's the business case for sustainability? Why are we doing this in the first place?
It's at the end of the day, while it's, a good thing to do and the right thing to do, it just makes business sense. So sustainability in general is just non-financial data, right? And the more data you have, the better business decisions you can make. The more data you have, the better risk and opportunities you can, assess and gain better opportunities and assess and mitigate your risk. So it all falls down to basic business sense, looking at risk and opportunity, and I mean, above and beyond, we all know the cost savings, right? Like, you do this work, you make the investment, you're going to get a really nice return on your investment because both the tangible and the intangible benefits are great. Even just from a hiring and retention standpoint, right? Employees love to work for companies that are looking at this, that are trying to be better. And so they seek out companies to work for that have this kind of purpose and mission behind what they do, besides their general why they do business, right? They're a bakery, yes, or they're a manufacturer of semiconductors, yes. But do they look at this? Do they look at being good stewards? And so people like to work for companies like this, and companies that work in this space, that do this type of work within their organization, have lower attrition rates, which, as every company, I don't care what industry you're in, hiring and retaining talent is still really tough. And this helps you with that. So just from that standpoint, because I think on average, I think I saw a latest statistic say it was $50,000 per employee to replace. That's a big hit to the bottom line. So just business sense, really.
One of the things that creates a lot of empathy, I think, for me, one of our advisors is the former chief sustainability officer at Nike. And that's a company that's got the resources, right? So these are folks that have been doing this for a long time. But one of the first questions I asked him was like, I know why Nike does this, but why does everybody else? And he said, our foray into sustainability, in a lot of ways was really amped up in the late 90s and early 2000s as we were discovering things in our supply chain that were risks to our business. So he said, for those of us old enough to remember, there was a time period where there was sweatshops and child slavery in the supply chain of Nike, and it almost killed the world's realistically most premium brand. And he said, at that point, what we realized was we're moving into a world where it's not a matter of if people will find out, it's a matter of when. And so our view is that anybody that we work with, whether they're manufacturing a small part, whether they're doing legal services for us, whether it's a manufacturing or dining facility, whatever it is, we need to depend that our suppliers and our vendors are meeting us on these same goals, because if something does get discovered, there's a methane leak, there's an unsavory business practice in a small town in Vietnam, he said it's not them who's going to be on the cover of the New York Times, it's us. And he said that's where I sort of think about this. For me, vendor risk and supplier risk is sustainability, and that's what pushes it. And I imagine that's the case for all of these companies, because they're worried that if their vendors aren't doing their part, it means that it's going to reflect poorly on them. Is that something that you see a lot in your line of work?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, a great example is kind of the struggles in the B Corp community, where, big multinational companies are becoming certified. And one company in particular has some human rights issues. Once again, still today, we still have companies out there with human rights issues. And it really soured the reputation of that certification for a lot of folks.
Mm-hmm.
And put into question, what, how the just the rigorous assessment and
Mm-hmm.
what it actually meant, right? Um, but I at some points, I think like a business owner, it's like, okay, well, you have your manufacturing overseas, or you're pulling stuff from this particular farm that, when you go out and you do your on-site visits, everything looks great, right? You hire people to go make sure that it's 100% right. And then you come back and you get reports of like, oh no, there's child labor, or and you're like, whoa, come on, people, right? So it's that supply chain that really need to stay on top of, because it can hurt the reputation of your entire company.
Mm-hmm. We have a client who works in the telecom space. They're sort of a warehouser and distributor for the telecom industry, or highly indexed towards it. And I remember the first time they reached out, they had gotten, it's a great business. They've been around for long, but they got an email from a number of their largest customers, and they said, as you've seen, we've got goals around climate, goals around ESG, goals around sustainability. We're going to need you to demonstrate that you're going to meet those too. And when you dig in, sometimes you find that executive compensation at those big companies is tied to this. Sometimes you dig in and you find that their regulation is requiring these huge companies to meet it, and it's creating a pretty seismic shift, I think, in the relationship of businesses and their suppliers and service providers that I haven't seen in a while. I foresee a pretty large shakeup and an opportunity for businesses to say, you know what, we can meet you on this. We're going to be able to do the things that you'd like us to, and we're going to be, rated one of your top suppliers in this category. It's something that we want to show you that we're on board with you too. And it's a great way to strengthen relationships, win market share, but it's also a huge risk, to lose business by, what I always think about is a little bit of a technicality. You never want to lose a deal because of a technicality. You want to lose a deal because your services weren't right for them. But if it's something outside of that, these are things that you can control. Do you see that a lot in your business, clients like
Yeah,
that?
yeah, absolutely. The trickle down effect is real, as the, top public companies of the world have been doing this reporting for a while. They're starting to dig into their supply chains, and that trickle down is starting to hit the small to medium sized privately held organizations that they don't have this information yet. They haven't started to dig into this information. They've been just trying to keep their businesses running over these past few years with the pandemic, and a lot of them are just now starting to come out of the red, right? And so they haven't really had a chance to catch their breath to dig into this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, the smaller the company, the more onerous it can kind of be on them to calculate a lot of this stuff, so that they have the numbers and they have the metrics. And then there's those companies that, perfect example. So we just rebranded. Our lovely logo here is fantastic. I love it. Way to go, marketing team. But when we rebranded, we decided we were going to get, some fun swag for the team with the new logos on it, stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
So our marketing team put together a list of all these wonderful things, very sustainable, right? Reusable. And then went, okay, now which of these have companies that are minority owned, that are B Corps, that are operating sustainably? Maybe they have impact reports that tell a really great story. And then if they didn't have that, if they didn't meet those criteria, they just were gone. They weren't even considered, and I mean, I think we spent like $150,000 on swag, and they weren't a part of that. They lost out because they didn't have it, or they didn't have it on their website. They weren't telling their story, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they don't even know that they lost out on our business.
Yep.
We were interested in their products, but because they weren't engaging, or they weren't telling their story, they were off the list. So I think more and more, as folks are starting to look at how they're spending their money,
Yep.
I have a podcast, and on the end of my podcast, I always say your dollar is a ballot and you vote every day. Vote wisely, my friends. People are starting to vote with their money.
Yep. Yeah, it's funny. And I've seen it in a number of industries. We have a client that I'm thinking of that serves in the education space. So they're a services company. They work with, colleges and universities and high schools and public schools and private schools and all kinds of things. And part of what they do is connect these schools to other vendors. So a lot of like merchandising and stuff. It's a pretty large business. And it was fascinating because one of the things they were describing reminds me of sort of what's going on today. They said, universities certainly like on all different sides are tended to going to be more dogmatic in some cases. They're going to say, we need to do this. We want to do this because it's the right thing. But that wasn't the driver of buying more sustainable stuff. The driver, the tipping point is when the sustainability story made its way to the CFO, and a CFO of a university was able to say, so you're telling me if I buy, course materials, like an online course subscription versus physical books, it may be a net neutral cost for me, but I can reduce the footprint of our university by 5%. Or when I'm thinking about this graduation season, when I'm thinking about graduation gowns, if I were to purchase the refurbished or a more sustainable fabric, from the same provider we've been using for the last decade, I can make a net neutral cost decision that actually has a net impact, on sustainability. And it was like a light went off. And that's what we're seeing so much, in the CFO's office, is when this data becomes available, and it's available today. It may not be available for your business, but it certainly is for folks in your space. It doesn't matter if you're a staffing company, a law firm, a physical product, service, a manufacturer of shirts, or whatever it might be. When they have the ability to make a decision of net neutral cost, but one is better for the environment, and in some cases with tax incentives and other things, the cost actually might even be more affordable. They're switching vendor relationships, and product mixes like I've never seen before, which is really exciting. It's really scary, but it's really exciting. And we've seen it across a number of platforms. We have a client in the staffing industry. I was camping with my son last weekend, and I was talking to a guy who, he's been in that industry for 10 or 15 years. And I live in North Carolina, so I'm in Eastern North Carolina at this point, not necessarily what I would say is the bastion of climate. He leaned over across the fire and he said, "What's your line of business?" So we help businesses with sustainability. And he said, "Is that the EcoVadis surveys?" And I said, "Yeah, that's like, you get those?" He said, "We get a ton of those." He said, "I get 50, 100 of those. I got clients asking me constantly to report this stuff." And our view is, if we're reporting that we haven't done it, our days are numbered, because they're asking that for a reason. And if you're in the services industry and you're not meeting that demand, it's a real risk to your business.
Right.
But on the flip side, I think this is where my next question was is, where's the opportunity? Obviously, there's a market shakeup. There's any opportunity where you can go and get, a couple more percentage points in market share. You can push out one of your big competitors. Is there still time for businesses to do that? And then what is the bar? Do they have to be the Patagonia of their category, or are we talking about something different?
No, I think there is absolutely still time to get differentiation. And no, you don't have to be Patagonia. That is, yes, that would be wonderful if everybody operated in that way, but don't have to be Patagonia. I think if you start with baby steps, and I always tell you, if you can't do a full carbon inventory, start with just scopes 1 and 2, right? Start with where you are, right? It's just like setting personal goals. If you wake up in the morning and just put on your running shoes, you're going to put yourself further towards actually getting out and running. It's just like that for your business and with the sustainability work, because it is such a big, the ESG, that's environmental, social, and governance, that's every part of your business. So break it down into bite-sized pieces. Take a look at, get a high-level ESG assessment done for your company to find out what's material for your company and your industry. And really look at, the SASB, the Sustainability Accounting Standards Board, has basically metrics for 77 different industries. So you can find a mix and say, like for us, we took the professional services one and we took the advertising one and put it together along with some, stuff from TCFD, and kind of made our own metrics on what to measure for us. Now the ISSB has International Sustainability Standards Board has come up with stuff for global standards. But before that, we basically kind of cobbled together our own to what's material for our business. So if you have, talk to an advisor to help you get through that so that you know what you should be measuring, and a roadmap. So you don't have to start measuring everything all at once. Start with the low-hanging fruit, because that's what's going to help you feel like, okay, I've done something, I'm moving forward. And then tell that story, and tell that story appropriately. A lot of greenwashing legislation is coming out. Right now there's a new one, 1305 in the state of California for, offsets, and how people talk about using offsets for their carbon emissions. So, you have to tell their story and tell it authentically. And if you do that, if you notice, like for instance, Patagonia, they told their story authentically their entire existence in business, and people loved them for it. They came out with ads saying, here's this jacket, here's what it's made of, here's the stuff that's in here that we don't necessarily like and that we're working on, right? Or they would come out and say, we're not going to put jackets in this specific color because we can't make this color sustainably yet. And so they talked about where their shortfalls were, what are their challenges, what are they working on? And they did so in authentic voice. And I think that's where people are getting in trouble right now, is that they are talking about their aspirations in a way of they're already happening now. And so talking about where you are in your story, on your journey, and then helping, because it gives examples to other companies on, it's okay, I don't have to be 100% perfect right this second. I can just start measuring. And that's, figure out what's material, benchmark yourself to figure out where are you at now, look at where do you want to be? Do you want to be a Patagonia? Do you just want to be a leader in your industry, right? And then what is the gap there? What's the roadmap? What do we have to do? And then the one thing I see clients don't do is put money in their budget. They'll need to start adding money in their budget planning for each year, right? So if companies are going to be reporting in the state of California, now we've got those climate related disclosures that they're going to have to start reporting in 2026, which means they're going to have to start measuring in 2025, which means in 2024, they have to figure out what they're going to measure, what software they're going to use, right? And get that on board, but then have that in their budget so that they can afford the software, so they can afford the consultant, so they can afford to do the work that needs to be done. Because 9 times out of 10, a lot of companies don't have internal resources to put towards that, right? So leveraging, out of house until you can bring it in house and do, a little bit more with your staff that you have.
What's one of the things that I just find staggering is how many businesses are doing this. Like a lot of folks that we talk to, this has changed over the course of a few years, is I don't have any customers that want me to do this. But one of the things that we track a lot is CDP. So CDP, for folks who don't know, is the kind of the clearinghouse of reporting. It's the most commonly reported in an official way platform. In many cases, if you're reporting to CDP, this is a real thing for you. So just to give you a sense, in 2020, there were 9,500 companies that reported to CDP. In 2023, that number is 23,000, and it is expected to grow 30% year over year. Now, amongst those, about 10 to 20% of them are businesses that are over 500 million in revenue. And they have a supply chain requirement that's either currently being enacted or previously enacted in a previous submission. So of those 23,000, you could expect about 10% to have a vendor requirement, going forward for their business. Many of these companies have hundreds of suppliers. They don't require this from one vendor. It is a one size fits all survey to everybody, and it is weighted the same. And I think a lot about, an early conversation I had with a chief sustainability officer. She was at Taco Bell of all places. And I said, what is your job? Like, what do you do? And she said, my job is not necessarily to know everything about climate. My job is to take these climate things and put them into language that my finance leaders can understand. And so this is the follow-up question here is, we get a lot of questions of how do you integrate this into a corporate strategy? there's one path that says we're going to be a leader in sustainability and we're going to do it. And that to me is a pretty easy one to do. If you're a green company or you're a green whatever firm, it's already part of your core strategy. But when we're talking about everybody else here, and my suspicion is many of the folks that are on this call, they don't have a marketing initiative that says we're going to be the greenest. They have a lifeline initiative of we need to grow business, retain customers, and we need to increase loyalty, increase our share of wallet with people. Those are the initiatives. So it's not how do you add sustainability to that? It's how do you use sustainability to further those core strategy and those core strategic initiatives. So when you think about how to relate this stuff back to a finance department, are there any anecdotes or stories that you've heard from customers who said, I finally got it. I'm the green person. I care about it. And something worked. I had this conversation with the finance leader and they said, light went off. I need to do this. Wait, what was that under? Was it a risk thing? Was it a compliance thing? Was it what was the conversation like?
As you were talking, I'm like over here writing down like, okay, I gotta touch on this. I gotta touch on this. So first off, this isn't just going to be suppliers that are asking for this information soon. Your bank's going to be asking for it. Your insurance company is going to be asking for it. It's going to determine your bank rates. It's going to determine your insurance rates. They're already starting to recalculate how they look at loans and how they look at risk for the companies that they're working with. So CFOs, that perks up ears for them as well. And I think this goes back to, when you're planning your strategy or when you're planning your mission and purpose of your business, are you taking all shareholders into account or are you taking all stakeholders? And now stakeholders for folks, I'll just remind you is, the owners, but the employees, the community that's around you and the economy that you're a part of, and your, the environment, your customers. How are your business decisions? How is your business strategy impacting all stakeholders? And if you weave that language and that thought into your strategic goals and your objectives for your business for the next year, you're going to end up, as you execute on those strategies and objectives and the actions, that you're going to bring along the E, the S, and the G, right? So as, for instance, as we do planning for Sensiba, we look at what are our two big strategic goals for the year? How do we weave in, not just tack on, but weave in our strategic goals that are more environmentally friendly, that are more sustainable, right? That are socially, weave in diversity, equity, inclusion into those goals so that as we execute on those goals, we bring along the E, the S, and the G. And that's how to do it properly instead of just having tack on initiatives, which a lot of businesses right now are just like, they're throwing spaghetti at the wall with no strategy. And they're coming to us going, it's not working. And it's like, well, if you just tack stuff on and you don't weave it into your business, then it's going to be harder. And it's going to be kind of like dragging buckets behind you in the water, right? It's going to move and you're going to feel how rough it is. But if you weave it in, it's going to be executed seamlessly. And you're going to start to really think about everything you do. Okay, wait, how does this impact those folks? Is that good for the environment and in your procurement, in your, HR, in your just overall governance documents, right? That's one of the requirements to becoming a certified B Corp is that you weave into your governance, you change your language so it reads all stakeholders. So it's just a really...
So I want to read it back and make sure I understand. But what you're saying is, if you're somebody here and you're thinking about, I've been beating this drum now for 5 years saying, we got to do this, we got to do this, we got to do this.
Yeah.
Is the tactic here to say, okay, get a list of your stakeholders. So customers, employees, and your major goals for the business. So like we have a goal for the business that's, make Greenplaces the best place to work and climate, Those are the goals for the business. Now, what everyone here could do is go home and say, how can sustainability help me achieve that? So if I have a goal around making this best place to work climate, like one is obviously I'm going to do the sustainability stuff and kind of get my ducks in a row, but how do I make sure that when we are recruiting people, we're talking about it? So is there a slide in my recruitment deck that talks about it? Is there a page on my website? Do I have a green page, a green, link on my site that says, here's what we're doing, because that's where everybody's looking. If it's, how do we have a goal to grow our accounts by 50% this year, that the stakeholder there is new customers. So maybe it's you come in and say, okay, we work in these industries, these types of customers. Let me do a run through and see of all of our target accounts, which one of them has a sustainability initiative, and make sure that we meet that requirement, and then empower our sellers, probably with something similar like a web page, to go to them and say, I know you've been working with so-and-so accounting or staffing firm for the last 20 years. Let me tell you, you have this goal around sustainability. We can meet you in this. We can reduce your risk around it. We can help you meet your objectives faster. And we're a better choice for the future because we do this and the others don't. So that's a great takeaway to me, is like, it's not about making your business, branded a green business. It's actually using these things to go to your CEO and go to your CFO and say, I've got a tool now that can help us achieve our goals better this year, and I need the resources to go put it into place, because what we need to do, is like you said, it's get an inventory where we are, do a carbon footprint, probably get a website that shares what this story is. And then I need to go out and sort of evangelize this to the right stakeholders.
Yeah. Yeah. So, tying, coming up with a list of all your stakeholders, how you engage with those stakeholders, making sure your strategy is tied to those, but it's like it's a mind shift.
Yeah.
Right. And when you do business with other businesses that are on that same mind shift, bills get paid quicker, right? Like, working with them is so much more of a joy, right? They become really good clients to work with. And it's a wonderful ecosystem to be a part of. But like I said, also, from a strategy, from a standpoint, making sure you've got budget allocated for it, making sure that you have people with this in their job description, right? So you weave in DEI into your HR job description, you weave in sustainability in your, procurement person's job description, or your whoever is working on, the manufacturing floor, right? Weave certain things into their job descriptions. That way they're held accountable come performance reviews and on their compensation allocation, and then weaving it into the leadership, right? And weaving into their compensation that they're responsible for this stuff. So tying it into all these different places actually will make stuff happen and move it through in a very kind of seamless, not so dragging the buckets down the river type of way.
So the story is, all the stakeholders are caring about it, regulators are caring about it, and our biggest customers care about it. The strategy is find a way to map sustainability to achieving your company goals, not add an entirely new goal, just figure out a way to say, sustainability can help me achieve these things, and have that in a clear presentation. What is the next piece is, okay, so then what do we do? Like, what is step one? Like, what does good look like, in the next year or two? Like, what are the basics that everybody really ought to be doing? And they could go back and say, are we doing this or are we not? Because we really need to. What's kind of the step?
Yeah, that's good. And it's going to look different for everybody. Every business is a little bit different and unique. And so everyone's plan is going to be a little different, unique. Finding out what your key metrics are that you need to benchmark and measure. Of those key metrics for everybody is a basic carbon footprint exercise, right? An inventory, finding out what your scopes 1, 2, and 3 are. And then I think good hygiene is just to be able to, from that, say, hey, here are 2 goals that we can help reduce our footprint, that are science-based goals or targets, right? I think that's a really good first step to take for organizations that are just getting into this, right? And then maybe look at, like I said, identifying stakeholders, tying different initiatives. Once you do a materiality assessment, it's going to show you all the different things that you need to do as an organization. It's going to poke holes in, types of documentation that you may or may not have for your governance. There's lots of companies that a lot of policies and procedures live in somebody's head or in a few different heads, but it's not really written down anywhere. And it's good practice, good business smarts to write this stuff down and get it into policy. It's less about wanting to be, oh, these are the rules, and more about this is clarity and transparency in our organization. I think if it comes from that standpoint, is this is clarity and transparency within our organization, it's going to be appreciated a lot more by the whole organization than like, these are the rules and we need to stick by them. That was a conversation I just had over the weekend with somebody about this. So yeah, that's, basic baby steps, working with somebody that can help you plan through those baby steps.
Yep.
And like I said, materiality assessment, figure out what you need to measure and how often. Getting that carbon footprint at number 2. And then I think the third one, reporting. Getting out there and getting an impact report done. It doesn't have to be robust. You can have it grow over the years. But getting something out there that talks about that you are starting to do this work. And that, like, here's our plans. We're starting small because this is where we're starting from, and just authentically talking about that, because that's going to help you in your hiring retention. It's going to help you with your, supply chain, all those things.
So number 1, figure out who do you need to, what matters to your business. So what customers care, what employees care, what's the risk, all that type of stuff. Number 2, get a carbon footprint done, because that establishes your metrics and a way to track it. And number 3 is have a place in the business, like on your website or something, that at least says, this is what we're doing. Because if you're doing the work, and many of these businesses have a lot of this stuff already, they may find just in doing it that, a lot of their offices are LEED certified. They've got EV charging stations. They've got dimmable lights. They've got all kinds of stuff. Like, have a home online, a green page or something where people can go find it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, you brought up EcoVadis. There's so many times I work with clients that come to us and say, we did EcoVadis, but our score's kind of low. Can you help us? And I'm like, well, you're doing all of these things. Why didn't you talk about it in your EcoVadis? They're like, oh, I didn't know where to put it. I didn't know like where to, and it's like, oh, well, we can talk about it here and here. And just not knowing like the different things, because sustainability is such a huge umbrella term, right? And so many things fit under it. I mean, if you look at the 17 United Nations SDGs, I mean, I think bucket it's everything pretty much in 17 unique, colorful buckets. All the things that a company does, and telling that story. So having somebody be able to go through and like pick out and say, okay, well, what are you doing here specifically? What are you doing here specifically? To really help you call it out. And I see we have a question actually that I want to touch on, asking us to talk more about the process of integrating ESG into existing growth, customer retention, goals, things like that.
Maybe a way to frame that is like, who do I go talk to? Like, who's the executive sponsor here that I start this conversation with?
Yeah. And that's, finding, there's going to be so many people in your organization that are passionate about this. Finding those people that are passionate about this, getting the operations leaders of your organization, and having C-level sponsorship of this. You've got to have that C-level buy-in, or it's not going to happen. The CEO, the CFO, every time we start an engagement, we look for that engagement, because otherwise stuff isn't going to happen. It's not going to make changes, because you got to have that tone from the top.
So finance leads. We see a lot of general counsels, for what it's worth.
A lot of general counsels. Finance, general counsel, the CEO. Get the head of your customer service involved. Get the head of your marketing involved. So that you can, think about the client experience in with it, and the marketing and how you talk about your story. And start talking about how you want to attack this, right? Engage outside help if you need to do a materiality assessment. That's going to give you more information, and look at how you can put it into your strategy. And you can weave different metrics, like having a metric for all of your employees to volunteer 20 hours a year, right? And giving them paid time off for that or something, 20 hours a year. and just tracking that so that you can show community engagement, right? And that all your employees are doing it, and then put it as part of their annual review, right? And so that's the different metrics like that, doing the benchmarking for the carbon footprinting and being able to see real results. I mean, one of my colleagues, Julian, worked with a winery, and they found that their biggest carbon footprint for the whole winery was their glass bottles.
Hmm.
The wine industry, the heavier the bottle, the better the wine, or at least that's the theory.
Right.
And so all the wineries are trying to make their bottles really heavy, and it's like, well, that does nothing for the taste of the wine, right? So they literally shaved 5% of the glass out of their bottles, right? The bottle still looked the same. They kind of shaved it from the punt on the bottom. And they literally dropped the weight of their bottles. Nobody noticed.
Yep.
Right? None of the customers noticed. But now that they're using 5% less glass, right? It's less glass in the bottle, right? So that's eliminated, right? The shipping weight of the cases went down. The cases themselves weighed less. So as they're stocking it in the actual stores, employees weren't hurting their backs because they're picking up, heavy wine cases. Everyone's lifted a case of wine at some point or attempted to.
Mm-hmm.
The cases weighed less. So they moved them from the back of the store to the front of the store. And suddenly they started selling more wine because folks could carry their cases to the front of the store. So all these little things just from shaving 5% off of the wine bottle, right? And so weaving stuff in helps you across the board. So that's
That makes
a
a ton
great
of sense.
example.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Well, I know we're getting kind of close to the 50-minute mark or so. Want to open it up to questions. So feel free to post questions at the Q&A or the chat. I can see both of them. If anyone has any specific questions, feel free to chat them in, and we'll kind of go through those.
Let's see. Somebody's asking for the article that I read where it was 50,000 per employee metric. I will find that and I will share that with Greenplaces. So when they do the post-event thank you email, that's
Sure.
probably going to go out. We can share that link. I'll definitely pull that up and share that.
So while I think folks are submitting questions, I think as a recap, what I'm hearing is this stuff is inevitable. Like it's not I don't think we're in this world of you have to raise your hand. Your hand's being raised. So I think the first thing you can do is make your executive team aware of that. The second is, I think, probably engage at minimum with your head of finance and your head of legal or compliance, and figure out what's the state of things today. Are we doing any of this stuff? Do we have customers asking about it? Do we not? What do our competitors do? Just kind of get a state of the union there. And then from that point, I think once you discover where you're most at risk or where your opportunities are, is basically attaching your sustainability, the things you're doing to those goals itself. So if you talk to your CFO and they said, yeah, we've got, 20 customers that have asked about this, and you say, well, what have we said? Then, you've got a case, you go do your carbon footprint, you get your materiality stuff done, you get everything in good place, and you can go report back to those people and you can start to measure it. Jennifer, I'm seeing from Jennifer, what is the importance of a materiality assessment and how would you go about conducting one?
So what's great about a materiality assessment is it looks at specifically your company, what industry it is, what size it is, and it gears it towards this. So we use the SASB, which is ISSB, the global standards that are out there. And SASB has 77 different standards by industry. And we go through that and we can very use our knowledge to pull out what is pertinent to your organization and size, so that you can start looking at, okay, well, here's the exact what we need to measure. And then you have an idea, then just going out there and going, oh my gosh, there's all of this stuff. But maybe, for say an accounting firm with a minor, carbon footprint, while we still do carbon measurement, we don't really have a lot of waste. So having a bunch of metrics around waste, doesn't make sense for us. It would for a manufacturer. So looking at what's material to your business, I think is really important, and having that assessment and done. And then from that assessment, folks will be able to call out, in the assessment, when you get back the report, kind of what your low-hanging fruit is. Like, here's your major risks, here's some major opportunities, here's where we suggest you start first, here's stuff that's going to take more long-term to address, and will take maybe a bigger project or task force to handle. So you have an idea of what is material for my business, what do I need to measure, how do I measure that, what immediate actions can I take for my organization that are going to get impact quick, that'll gain more buy-in, so that we can get these longer term projects done.
Mm-hmm. And one of the questions that came in was, can you suggest ways to make progress when our stakeholders have low expectations? We're in an industry where things are lagging, and our C-levels, consequently are in that same boat. One of the things that I'll throw out there is you're not alone. There's a reason there's so many people on this call, is we're all trying to figure this stuff out. Both Jennifer and myself at Greenplaces, a lot of times when we help people, it's not like we have a contract and it's here's the bill and you got to go figure it out. Like, we know this, like, this is all we do. So we're happy to sit down with you and, a lot of these things, like figure out what your competitors are doing. Like, you may be in an industry where it's not prioritized, but for somebody it might be, or we might know something that you don't. So you mentioned this person's in healthcare. It's bigger
than work with a healthcare client.
we have a hospital system in California, and it's hugely important to them. And it doesn't mean that sustainability, it's sustainability or not. Like, that's the thing that I think really helps a lot of times, is understanding that, you can't walk into an executive meeting and say, the world's on fire, you should care, or else. You've got to say, it's got to be smarter than that. You got to look at it and say, look, I know you have a lot of things we got to do, but in healthcare, there's a tremendous amount of waste. Well, waste is a lot of cost,
and
so,
it's one of those things that there's a lot of just kind of standard practices in healthcare.
Yep.
I recently had to be in a hospital for several days at the end of the year, and it made me cringe, as somebody who works in sustainability, all of the things that were going to be thrown away after I left, right? That was brought into my room without even asking first, right? Do you need a toothbrush? No, I don't need a toothbrush. Don't bring a toothbrush into my room, because if you do, they're going to have to throw it away, because even if it's still in the wrapper, there's just so many things that healthcare does. But I'm working right now. I've done some conversations and a little bit of work with the Oakland Zoo, who they have a full veterinary practice in the zoo, and they're looking at how they can be more sustainable, like the types of gloves they use, and just so taking some of like the learnings from one area to apply to healthcare, where healthcare for animals and healthcare for humans are pretty similar in a lot of ways, and trying to be sustainable but still being mindful of the actual practitioners and their safety. That's a fine line. That's a hard thing to come up with, which is why I'm so excited. I want to work with a healthcare client. So reach out to me.
One of our clients is a hospital in California, in LA County, and they're trying to keep the lights on too, and one of the reasons that they do this is pretty much in every industry, there's sort of like an established what does good look like. There's certainly what is great. But most of the people that are going to be going for great, they've already started this, like they don't have the issues that we're talking about. It's more about, how do we make sure we're not perceived as the worst? And so one recommendation I would have, because this is very industry specific, and I know Jen and I are both running a number of industries, feel free to reach out to us directly, and we're happy to help you get some materials that would be helpful for you to have that conversation. But in general, a lot of folks, they don't want to be the first mover, but they also don't want to be like perceived as the one sticking their head in the sand. And in many cases, doing something that's more sustainable doesn't mean like losing money. Technically, sustainability means producing more value with less resources, not less value with less resources. So there's an argument, and sometimes it's just like one way of phrasing it that unlocks it for somebody to say, of course not. When you show somebody in a hospital that you're using, 10 times more energy per square foot than a comparative hospital right across the street, they say, what are we doing wasting money on this type of stuff? There's a better way to do this. Like, what's the low hanging fruit? What are the things that we're doing? When you think about, like, again, any industry, there's basically a pretty clear established what is good. And I think making sure that you're in the middle of the pack at minimum is a good thing. So I know we've got a few minutes left, so we're kind of nearing the end here, but I do want to thank everybody while folks are still on. Thank you, Jen, so much for joining today. This is super, super, super helpful and insightful. I feel like I could talk for 2 more hours. If folks have questions, definitely feel free to reach out directly. We'll follow up with an email, with a recording, with all that type of stuff. We'll try to summarize this into some tactical things you can do. It goes without saying, but Jen and I help businesses all the time. Greenplaces is a platform. We do all the carbon footprint, all of that data work that's time consuming and difficult. Jennifer is going to be able to come in with that strategy, the materiality assessment, helping you get there. We do a lot of stuff together, and both of us are more than happy to talk to people without like a contract in place. We want you to do this and be able to be successful. So use this as a resource, because we have 100 of these conversations a day. So feel free to reach out, to us, and no question is too naive. Like, a lot of times it's just, tell me what I need to do and who I need to meet with. And there is a way to do this. And I promise you, we've been able to help people make that connection to even the most skeptical CEOs. And just getting started is really, really minimum effort. But at this point in time, you are going to look so much better to your customers. You don't have to be the world's most sustainable, agency or business or whatever to make your mark. Where your risk is today is by not doing a footprint, by not having a place to talk about it. You're being perceived already by your customers and stakeholders as somebody who's almost going out of their way not to. It's just too much that's already there. The train has already left the station. This is a great place to begin, and we're happy to help in any way. So feel free to reach out, and we can definitely point you in the right direction.
Yeah, it's not a matter of if, it's only a matter of when. The conversation has definitely shifted over the last few years from the marketing and sustainability folks to the CFO and general counsel, because the regulations are coming into play. Legislation has been written, regulations are happening from a global, national, and state level. They're starting at climate right now, but they're already talking about human capital disclosures, biodiversity numbers. So it's going to create financial statements that look more like due diligence documents, really having the non-financial and the financial data next to each other so that folks can make better business decisions. And yes, there are some challenges because these laws are getting pushed in and people are pushing back. The way I look at it is, after the Great Depression, there was a lot of companies that were cooking the books after the Great Depression. And so the government stepped in and said, guys, you can't do this anymore. And they came up with standard rules for P&Ls and financial statements. Well, now we're at a place where companies are cooking the books in regards to the environmental and social stuff, and the government's stepping in saying, okay, guys, we need to set some guide rails. We need to set some rules to kind of rein this in, to hold people more accountable. And so people are kicking and screaming right now, just like they were kicking and screaming back when we had financial regulations come down. So history repeats itself. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
So I think that could be a good takeaway for everybody. Go have a meeting with your controller or finance department. And I would just ask, are we good or are we not? Like, are we doing anything or are we not? And if we're not, let's at least take a look at the risk to the business that we may not be seeing. And every CEO, no matter how skeptical they are about everything else, they're going to try to do things that de-risk the business and prepare you for the future. And there's a lot of risk here. There's a lot of deals that'll be lost, a lot of value to be gained with some pretty simple steps. And so I think having that meeting with your finance department is a really, really easy first step. Just, are we doing this or are we not? Are we seeing it? Are we not? How are competitors thinking about this? Where do we fit in? And how do we get ourselves from the bucket of, red, they just are refusing to at least participating and beginning, just so that we don't miss our plan this year because of something like a technicality like this. This is definitely achievable for every business.
Mhm.
Well, we're at the 2 hour mark or 1 hour mark. Thank you so much, Jen. This is amazing. Thank you so much for joining today. Sincerely appreciate it. It was super insightful. I learned a ton. And thanks for taking the time, everybody, for joining. We had a great group. So thank you.
Thank you, guys.